Hey guys, a couple of spots here. I think I'm just going to jam here. I don't know about this guy. I haven't got his, stats up, but he's on the button. And we have M10 and Ace Queen, so it's pretty straightforward. I will bring in, what should I bring in? Perhaps swap these over. It's only top 3 get paid. It's a small high-low tournament. But it is the bubble now because there's four of us left, so I'll just bring that in. And we're doing okay in that 100 rebuy, still bottom right. You can see we built up a bit, coming 9 of 41, but only top 9 get paid. It's actually a pretty tough field, so it's going to be a bit of fun. Trying to work our way through the tough field. I did do something I almost never ever do in the rebuy period in that tournament. Well, just in general, never ever do. And that is slow roll. I slow rolled Zack Attack for a bit of fun. Just because we have, you probably heard me mention his name before. And he's just one of these guys that just hates everything, just hates life. You know, you say to him, good hand, and he's like, you know, F off. Or, you know, just, even if you're just sincere, you know, he just hates everything. And someone had just said to him, you know, can you teach me how to run like you, Zach? And then he just spent the next few minutes complaining in the chat box. You know, telling the guy he's an idiot. And I just couldn't resist it. Just while I was doing it, I 10-3. I think I will raise this one up here and just commit. Because he's just opening enough, this guy, but it's close. Because it's not really that late. But at the same time, we do only have M6 in there. 8, 7.5? Something like that. And I'm having the best coffee in the world right now. My wife just dropped it off. It's a mocha. It's going down fantastically well. Pretty close to the bubble, so it'd be pretty annoying if he jams, but yeah, I mean, there's just not much to do. It's actually a little bit alarming that he's actually tanking. It actually makes me think he might have the nuts. Nope, he gives it up. Top right, the 11 rebuy is still doing okay in that. And is his final table now, top middle that you see there, with the 33-2 rebuy one add-on. Only 1,269 up top for that. But yeah, going back to Zack Attack. King 4-6. Yeah, I think we can call that one. Yeah, he's just one of these guys. You see it a bit in the poker world. And just be careful it doesn't happen to you guys. You just see these guys in the poker world that for some reason, I think for certain personalities, poker can be really kind of stressful. I mean, it can be just a tough, like they say, it's a tough way to make an easy living. Is that how it goes? I think that's how it goes. And that really is, I think, quite true. You know, you see me grinding pretty hard. And, you know, like today I feel like I've been playing a lot of tables and been pretty patient, fairly zoned in. I got a bit distracted for a while before, but, you know, it kind of happens. Just thinking, I guess second nut low for SPR1, and we probably can't fold. We'd have the backdoor hearts and the 2 overs as well. It's kind of close. I hope he hasn't got ace-2. If he's got ace-2, we're in trouble. He's got ace-2. We're in trouble. And he's got a 6. So it's a little bit on the loose side. Can we knock out Tollgate? Come on. One time. Yes, we got Tollgate. That's a bonus. There should be a bounty on that man. He's hard to get. But yeah, just one of those guys. Just seems to hate everything, hate life, hate the world. So yeah, I mean, you just get those types, and I just think it comes with the territory. You know, sometimes you get these people. I mean, you hear me talking about, you know, when I lose pots and that sort of thing, and I'm usually, it doesn't, you know, I mean, sometimes it gets a little bit annoying when it happens a lot, you know, especially if you've, you know, especially if you feel you've been playing well and you've sort of been making a great call or something like that and you get punished for it, you know, that's always kind of annoying, especially the key pots. When you keep losing key pots, getting set up, playing well, getting big stacks, and then making the right decision but losing, you know, a key pot, it's kind of, that's pretty annoying. But you know, the reality is like literally like 5 minutes, you know, 5 minutes later, you know, I'm usually over it. Sometimes 3 minutes. Even if I have a horrific session, the truth is like 15 minutes after I finish playing, I actually kind of want to play again. You know, I may not want to play, but I'm ready again. I feel kind of, you know, I mean, in some cases I know I shouldn't mentally because I need to refresh more, but if I was, what I really mean is if I was frustrated or upset about something, it's gone very quickly. And I think you need to be like that. You need to develop some thick skin if you're going to survive in the poker world. You know, if you're going to prevent yourself from tilting, there's different ways of doing it. Some people, one guy I know actually laughs when he gets bad beat, you know, and it sounds a bit crazy, but he actually kind of sincerely laughs, and he's just trained himself in the mind to think that it's funny, you know, and he actually genuinely laughs. Haha, that's funny, I just got, you know, 2-outed. It's like an odd thing, but you know, it's like a defense kind of mechanism, protect yourself from getting too stressed about it, and he actually flips it on its head and makes it sort of a funny thing, and he actually convinces himself, his own brain, kind of like, hey, this is funny, and each to their own, you know, whatever works for you. For me, you know, I've got different things I can think about. I'm just pretty sort of, I don't know, like an easygoing guy, I think, so just, yeah, I mean, everyone has things that make them happy, you know, whether it's your dog, your wife, your kids, your apartment, your car, your tortoise, you know, whatever you've got, there's got to be something there, right? I hope, you know. Yeah, just take some time out, watch a movie or something, clear your mind up. And do what you got to do to stay in control. Losing it here, guys. Losing it. I was just trying to keep up with everything. Suddenly I just had a whole lot of decisions. I think that was really close bottom right. Wow, I just looked and saw the flop. We would have flopped the nuts. I do think Zealand's capable of squeezing there pretty light. So I was actually thinking about 4-betting. Take another peek at that. We would have flopped big. So make it 3, he makes it 13. The problem is he's so short, you know? 16, 17, 32. Yeah, I think I should have just taken him in there. I think that was a mistake. I think 3-betting when Zach overcalls like that. Yeah, I think it's a bit of a mistake, actually, the way I played that. I should have just made it 2,500 and taken Ace Jack suited, taken Zealand in, squeezing on the button there. That was probably a mistake, so. Got to get back into the zone here, guys. It's been a pretty long session, still got a lot of tables going, so I'll try and... it's easy to say it's a mistake when you flop the nuts, but no, I do genuinely think... I mean, I was kind of right on. I don't think it's... I think it's pretty close. But I think that it's a hand you just got to go for. Just because he's actually going to be folding a fair bit. He might even do it with some hands that, you know, we got good equity against. Like eights and so forth. This guy, what's this, opening a lot? I think I will attack him here. He's so short though, isn't he? He doesn't pick up on anything there that I took so long to raise. He's actually M8, so I've gone with a very, very small, just sort of mini almost. It asserts enough pressure, you know, without needing to make it too big. It accomplishes the same thing. I mean, I don't think he's going to be... I don't think he has too much of a flatting range, you know, out of position in that spot. I think he's just sort of going to be looking to get it in or fold, so... Wow, this is the same guy that 3-bet us before on the button. 3-bet buy position button, it's pretty solid. Just in general, actually, 3-betting a lot. Versus late position, yeah, I think 7, 14, 15, 17. Yeah, I think we're just going to take this one again. He's just got too high a frequency of 3-betting and just have to smack his face with a 4-bet. It's interesting that he does do it again, even though we 4-bet him last time and now we do it again, so... Don't want to necessarily read too much into it. But in terms of metagame, you know, he might be potentially alter his what he does against us a little bit. Possibly. Hard to say. But maybe he doesn't. Maybe he just continues to... Continues to 3-bet aggressively. And that's fine, because we're just going to continue to 4-bet his ass. So this guy doesn't fold to any 3-bets, according to this. We don't have many hands on him. He has been stealing a fair bit. He's been opening a fair bit. 3, 4... Yeah, I'm pretty close on this. I think I might fold it and wait for a... I wouldn't say better spot, but just a different spot. Well, what I mean is that... I should clarify that. Wow, this is an interesting hand here. I don't think he has a king, this guy. Oh, it's not a bad card. I think he's got a 7 a lot. I don't know if we can get thin value here. Oh, 7, 40. Can we get thin value if he's got a king? I think I'm just going to check it, just in case. We might have been able to get thin value from that hand. 7, 4, 5, 12, 13, 14, 15. I think I'm going to put a small 3-bet out there. I just think if we can flat top right, might be get more EV by flatting. But I think that... sorry about that, guys. If you heard that bang then, it's just snow falling off the roof. I just think it's probably... 3-betting blind on blind like that, I mean, he's still going to call a decent frequency. He's still going to 4-bet a decent frequency. and at the same time just sort of letting him see a flop. It does increase the variance just a little bit, and we are sort of sitting not pretty, but 9 of 23, soft field left. You know, if we just let him flat, and I mean, if we just flat and the flop comes, you know, 6, 7, 8, all hearts, and I mean, this is worst case, and he just donks half pot, like, it just, yeah, I mean, it's just kind of gross. Then all of a sudden we might be stacking off, and, well, not stacking off, but being crippled, obviously. Effective stack there, M12 is, or closer to M10, I guess, but yeah, it's devastating either way. So, do I think flatting yields more EV? Yes. Do I think it necessarily yields enough EV to make it the best option? I mean, it really does depend on the opponent. I mean, if he's a fish that's just going to flop a pair and stack off, then yes, but I don't think so generally. I mean, not a huge amount of difference, I don't think. It does depend on the player, but like I said, I mean, blind on blind, players often sort of get out of line anyway, and I mean, especially at the $11 buy-in, a lot of times they call those 3 bets anyway out of position, and then it's even harder for them if they do, for them to escape post, of course. So I guess we've got to continue to fire now. We're trying to tell this story to this guy. We don't really have too much backup other than the backdoor straight, but he does fold, so that's good. Bottom left, I think Ace King 7-5 is just going to be a jam. The big blind player is probably being pretty tight because it's a bubble. It's a hand that's, I mean, it's just a good hand, 4-handed. It's quite good. Couldn't get any action there with the kings, unfortunately. It's actually a pretty tough table. Fish, Zealand, and Zack Attack. These guys are all good players, so it was a little bit unfortunate to be on that table because there's a few softer. Well, actually, it's just a good lineup all around. I mean, there's just all the regs are in there. It's what you expect from a $100 short-handed sort of tournament, I guess. I think I'm just going to call here and then assess. And I think I'm just going to give that one up. Pretty bad flop for our hand. Are we close to the bubble here? Where are we? Oh, we are on the bubble. Oh, well, I have to raise. Ace Queen 3-3, 1 suit. Yeah, I think I'm going to take that again. It's not awesome just because the pair in your hand is not good to have. You know, we'd rather have Ace 3, 5 or something. It's not really that good to have a pair there. Bottom right, I'm just going to call with the Ace Jack. Ace Queen, I should say. Suited. I think it's fine. This is such a strong hand. I think I would actually just min. Ace 2 Jack. It's kind of close. I mean, we could just shove again, but 3 and that's 4. It's not opening that much. I think I'm going to let him have that one. Wow, this guy does raise it up. I think I'm going to call. It's actually a pretty good squeezing spot, and this advance to Mayfield hasn't 4-bet, and he's loose. So I think there's some chance we actually. I think there's some chance we're actually in good shape here. So we're in pretty good shape now. Bottom left. Once that flop came out, that's for sure. And wow, we're just getting hit by the deck hard, bottom left. And I think I'm just going to raise here again. Don't mind getting a little bit of action with this hand. Ace King 2-3, very nutty. Very, very good hand. This is just obviously a bad flop. It was kind of a weird spot. I mean, I don't usually make a habit of calling in that spot, to be honest. It's kind of a bit gross because it's a pretty big chunk of our stack. We could even have shoved pre. We're getting in a really deep stack. I'm just not quite sure that this fish guy is actually squeezing quite that often. If we're wrong and he's got ace king or something, it's like really gross. He's repping a big hand when he makes that raise pre-flop. This guy, he looks pretty aggressive, so 3-bet by position, small blind is really high. 3-bet verse position high. It's just going in. It looks like he's just using the bubble here. And in she goes. It is obviously right on the bubble, so it'd be pretty unfortunate to run into a hand, but I just think he's folding a lot, and maybe even sometimes we have the best hand. The other thing is too, is that we're not so short that we're just necessarily, and this is a kind of weird thing about bubble players. You've seen me sometimes when I'm short playing really, really tight, just trying to survive. And the thing is that, you know, you saw earlier where, you know, we were actually hovering around like literally M2, just had this tiny stack for part of the 55 1 rebuy 1 add-on. And we were playing this really, really tight game. The thing about that is that if you double up, a lot of the times it doesn't really do that much for you. I mean, your objective is to more so just sort of survive and get into the money. And doubling up, it might give you a little bit more opportunity to do that. But if there's a really short stack out there, I mean, it doesn't necessarily do that. And at the same token, it doesn't necessarily, you know, put you in, I kind of want to call here, but his bet's so big, I think I'm going to fold. It doesn't sort of put you in, you know, necessarily a power seat to do well in the tournament. I mean, if you double up M2, you go to M4. I mean, in terms of winning the tournament, your equity hasn't changed that much. If you have M5 and there's like an M2 out there, and you have a chance to double to M10, I mean, an M10 stack does give you a bit more maneuverability and is nice, but you know, usually in that instance, your priority is still going to be like outlasting the short stack. But yeah, I mean, if you get to M10, that's a decent stack. But in this instance here, we actually already at M10. We've been 3-bet. If we double up there, we actually go to M20, which is actually, it's pretty considerable, M20, from putting us in a position to win the tournament. It's a pretty, yeah, I mean, it's a pretty nice, I think I checked there. And so what I'm saying is that, wow, I think I'm going to isolate that guy. Wow, he's a little bit deeper than I thought. No, I'm going to fold it. Wow, no bet's so big. Actually seems like he's actually got a 10. But I think I'm going to call. Yeah, just chopping. I don't really see the point to that bet. I mean, to be honest, I don't really like that bet size. He's not going to fold us off a chop once we get to the river, and it's going to check. You know, it's a pretty silly bet. I think he should bet small and try and get king high to call. Look like he's just given up, you know, and then try and get king high to make a crying call. He's never going to fold out ace high. So I think his objective should be more to try to get worse hands to call, rather than trying to, I mean, he's not folding out anything worse is what I'm saying. He's only getting called by the same hand or better. Obviously, it's very unlikely we have better. I think if he is going to try and fold out ace high, he needs to like double pot it. That's a better bet than what he did, I think. It's either try and fold out ace high and go double pot, or it's try and get called by worse, I think, and go like 5th pot. And maybe, we'll hero call with king high, thinking he just has to bet now to win and he had given up or something. Which I don't expect him to do too often on that board. So, I mean, it did look like he had ace high, but, if he bets, 5th pot and we're there with king 9, we've got the king high and he hasn't bet until the river, it's close. We might actually hero call and get the bad news. So, I think a small mistake by his part then, Legend 10. In my opinion, but he might have his reasons for that, his bet sizing, but yeah, I think got a little bit distracted, I think, a little bit distracted at times there. A lot of tables still going, and it's been a long session, so getting a little bit. Didn't have a huge sleep last night, only a few hours, so getting a little bit. I wouldn't say tired, but just getting a little bit cloudy. But I'll keep splash the face. Have a couple more sips of this coffee here, this cafe mocha, and try to get in the zone and crush these final tables next level. See you then.